I felt numbness all over me. My vision became blurry. There was blood running from my head down to my face. My hearing was severely damaged by the explosion. I can't move my body. I had no seatbelt. My lower extremities were wounded. My car was pelted with gunfire.
Kara! Kara!
That voice was very familiar. I looked around and no one was there. Is this a paradise? The place was beautiful, surrounded by picturesque tall pine trees and beautifully mowed Bermuda grass.
Kara!
That voice again. I ignored it. I kept walking, enjoying the beautiful scenery. Parang nasa mansyon lang ako sa Bulacan. I could live here forever. The place was lovely and peaceful. Dinala ko ng aking mga paa sa lawa. Parang katulad ito ng lawa sa dulo ng aming subdivision. I smiled. This is heaven, I guess. So I am dead. Umupo ako sa bench. Pinuno ko ng sariwang hangin ang aking baga. The serenity of the place gives a soothing feeling. This is all we need. Free from everything. Hate, chaos, sorrow, and regrets. As I closed my eyes, I raised my chin and looked at the sun. Hindi ito masakit sa balat.
Kara!
Naririnig ko na naman ang boses na yon. Tumayo ako at hinanap ang pinanggalingan ng boses. Sa aking paglalakad para akong kinabahan bigla. Kinapa ko ang aking dibdib. There my heartbeat was like a roller coaster ride. Out of nowhere, a man wearing a white polo appeared not far from me. I stopped walking a few meters from him. His face was sad. His eyes were gloomy. He bitterly smiled at me. Dad? Tawag ko sa kanya. He smiled but his smile did not reach his eyes. He offered his hand. Nag-aalangan akong tanggapin yon. Dinala niya ako sa isang bench. The scenery changed since we're now on the beach. This beach was one of my favorites. Tahimik lang siya. Hindi ito nagsasalita. Pero niyugyug nito ang kanang hita.
I'm sorry, Kara, for all the mistakes I did.
Napakunot ang aking noo. What do you mean, Dad? Takang tanong ko sa kanya.
I am sorry for hurting your mother. My sins were unforgivable. I deserve to go to hell for everything I did. And all I am asking, sweetheart, for your forgiveness.
Bigla na lang nag-ibang itsura. Galit ang kanyang mga mata.
You need to wake up. You've been sleeping for like forever. Now fulfill your promises. Avenge my death. The Tantocos need to be punished. I want your words, Kara. You promised me.
Galit na saad ni Dad. Nalilito ako. Naglakad siya papalayo sa akin. Naabutan ko siya. Dad, wait! I don't want to go back. I love it here. Quiet and peaceful. Hirit ko sa kanya. But for the first time, I saw my dad's angry face. Nagtagis ang kanyang mga bagang. Puno ng galit ang kanyang mga mata.
You promised, Kara. Your promise. Get up and wake up.
Malakas niyang sigaw. Isang malakas na sampal ang dumapo sa mukha ko. I felt pain. Nagtataka akong tumingin sa kanya. Why, Daddy? Why you slapped me? Umagos ang luha sa aking mga mata.
Avenge me. You will not rest until you make them pay.
He turned around and walked away. Clint's POV.
Looking at Kara fighting for her life broke my heart. It was all my fault. Wala akong kwentang legal guardian niya. Palagi na lang siyang napapahamak dahil sa kapabayaan ko. Once again, Clyde, my twin, blames me. He loves Kara so much, so I do. Nagkalat ang basyo ng bala na pinagbanggaan ni Kara. Mabuti na lang naka-alerto agad sa lokal na pulisya. When Kara stole the car and drove away, my man immediately called me. Gusto kong pagbabarilin ang aking mga tauhan dahil nasalisihan sila ng isang teenager. Her lower extremities were severely injured. She didn't even put her seatbelt on. I was in a meeting when it happened. Her car was beyond repair. Sa tindi ng pinsala ng sasakyan, milagro na lang ang makakaligtas sa kanya. Clint, anong nangyari sa anak ko? Napalingon ako, Tita Cedera, Kara's biological mom. Nabangga ang kanyang sasakyan at pinaulanan ho ng bala ang sasakyan niya. Lumusot ang bala kahit naka-bulletproof ang sasakyan. Malungkot kong pahayag. Diyos ko, bakit ito nararanasan ng aking anak? Dinig kong tanong niya sa Diyos. Niyakap ko siya. Patawad po, tita. Ako ang may kasalanan. Hinging tawad ko sa kanya. Umiling-iling siya. She even called me after Kara informed her na bibisitahin ito si Elizabeth sa ospital. Maraming dugo ang nawala sa kanya. I'm just praying for her not to have a brain injury. How is she? Napalingon ako. It was Leander Tantoco, son of the mastermind behind everything. Masama ako siyang tiningnan. What the hell are you doing here, Tantoco? Galaiting sigaw ko. He wasn't intimidated. Sinalubong niya ang galit ko. I just wanna make sure that she's okay. Maagap niyang sagot. You wanna know? Or like your dad, you want her to get killed in, Tantoco? Dinuro ko siya sa dibdib pero hindi man lang ito natinag. I was there, Clint. I called the ambulance. I let her out. Sabay abot ng journal ni Kara. Napatingin ako doon. Nakasealed pa ito. I didn't come here to fight with you, Villafuerte. I want to know if she's alive. Buwelta ng sagot niya. Nagbabaga din ang galit sa kanyang mga mata. Really? Matapos pa ulanan ng tatay mong sasakyan niya tapos nandito para alamin kung buhay pa ang pinsan ko? Kalokohan! Isang malakas na suntok ang tumama sa mukha niya. Sa tindi ng galit ko, wala akong pakialam kung sinong Tantoco ang kaharap ko. Clint! Malakas na tawag ni Tita Sidera sa akin. Inalalayan ang Leander na iyon na tumayo. Hindi itong gusto ni Kara na mag-away-away kayo. Bulalas ni Tita Siding sa amin. Okay ka lang ba, Leander? Dinig kong tanong ni Tita. Why is she so kind despite everything that has happened to her? Her life was ruined because of Tito Romulo and Darius Tantoco. Why does she even help the son of the monster who wants my cousin dead in the first place? Umalis ka na dito, Tantoco, habang makakapagtimpi pa ako. Pinagtitinginan na kami ng ibang tao. Be my guest, Villafuerte, but I'm not leaving. Not until I know she's safe. Madiing sagot nito. Halika sa emergency room, Leander. Ipagamot natin ang sugat mo. Nag-aalalang dinig kong sabi ni Tita. Napailing ako. Hindi naman niya ikamamatay, Tita. Painsultong saad ko. I heard him chuckle. Ang masamang damo matagal mamatay, Villafuerte. Parang ikaw. Pabalang nasagot niya. Sinamaan ko siya ng tingin pero ngisi lang ang sagot sa akin na lalong nagpainit ng ulo ko. Umalis ako dahil kung hindi baka makapatay ako ng tao.
Leander's POV.
I parked my car on the other side of the road. Matagal ko nang sinusundan si Kara. I don't know why. My mind was playing tricks on me. I was hallucinating. Sometimes I am seeing my mom, begging, and pleading to stay away from Kara. I started hearing voices. After experiencing numbness, my body suddenly heightened my senses for no apparent reason. Sometimes I was in one place and I had no clue how I got there. Someone was talking to me then offered me something I wasn't aware of. I'm not insane. I am losing myself. That's why I stalk Kara, because every time I see her, I find peace. As long as I don't close my eyes for a long period of time. If I did, all I would want to do was crush her down. I experienced a psychotic breakdown. I am aware of it now. But the thing is, no one is there to help me. My dad was wanted by the law, and my mom died tragically. The only person who loves me. I am all alone. When I built a special bond with Kara, I was hoping that we could be more than just friends, but everything was a mess. I was busy thinking when I noticed Kara was crying and running away. Nakita ko kung paano niya pinaharurot ang sasakyan. Sinundan ko siya. I kept my distance. She was heading to Bulacan. I assumed she wanted to go back to their old house. But out of nowhere, she waves her hand in the air. Sinalakay ako ng takot para sa kaligtasan niya. Mas lalo kong binilisan ang aking pagmamaneho. Nang bigla na lang sumalpok ang sasakyan sa isang puno. Bigla akong napapreno. Natakot ako para sa kaligtasan ni Kara. Nasa highway kami. Nang bigla akong itinigil ang aking sasakyan sa gitna ng kalsada para takbuhin ang sasakyan niya. No! Kara! Ilang beses kong binuksan ang pintuan. Nakalock ito. Oh God! Agad akong tumawag ng ambulansya. Sunod-sunod na putok ang tumama sa sasakyan ni Kara. It was a bulletproof car. She's fine. But the gas was leaking. Napatakip ako sa aking tenga dahil sa sunod-sunod na putok na tumatama sa sasakyan ni Kara. After shooting for more than 20 rounds, there is a greater chance that the bullet will penetrate the bulletproof glass. Nang marinig kong sirena ng pulis, agad na tumigil na nagpapaputok sa sasakyan ni Kara. I was trying to open the door, but it was locked. I kept tapping Kara's windshield. She slowly moved. Agad niyang binuksan ang pintuan sa driver's seat. But her legs were trapped. Buti na lang dumating ang mga pulis at ambulansya. They successfully retrieved Kara. I took the envelope. I was holding her hand. She was unconscious but murmuring, Leander. I brought her to the hospital.
Sedaras VOV.
Parang natudurog ang puso ko nang makita kong kalunos-lunos na itsura ng aking anak. Kasalanan ko ito. Dapat hindi ko siya pinayagan na bisitahin si Ate Elizabeth. Natakot ako para sa kaligtasan niya. Agad akong napasugod nang malaman kong naaksidente siya at pinaulanan ng bala ang kanyang sasakyan. Simula pa noon wala akong hangad kundi magkaroon ng isang masaya at buong pamilya. Pero dahil sa trahedya sa buhay namin ni Ate Elizabeth, nagkahiwalay kami. Pero noong natagpuan niya ako, akala ko doon na magiging maayos ang buhay ko. Pero nagkamali ako. Pauwi ako noon mula sa pabrika kung saan ako nagtatrabaho. Nang bigla na lang may humintong itim na sasakyan at kinidnap ako. Agad akong nawalan ng malay nang mayroon silang pinantakip sa aking ilong. Paggising ko nakapiring na ang aking mga mata, nakatali sa likod ang aking mga kamay at hindi ko alam kung nasaan ako. Nilapastangan ng puri ko. Ilang beses akong ginahasa ng iba't ibang lalaki. Sinasaktan bago nila ako gagamitin. Pinapainom din nila ako ng droga. Akala ko katapusan ko na dahil madalas sinihiwa ng blade ang likod ko habang ginagamit ang aking katawan ng mga lalaking lango sa droga. Wala akong magawa kundi ang sumigaw sa sakit at umiyak. Sa tagal ng panahon na pambababoy nila sa akin, nagbunga yon. Hindi ko alam kung sino ang ama ng aking magiging anak. Sa kabila ng pasakit, paghihirap at pagyurak sa aking pagkatao, hindi ko pa rin maatim na ipalaglag ang batang nasa aking sinapupunan. Isang araw pinatakas ako ng isang babae. Tinulungan niya ako. Hindi ko siya kilala, pero magaan ang loob ko sa kanya. Nang makatakas ako, bumalik ako sa bahay ng umampon sa akin. Ngunit wala na sila. Matagal na daw patay noong araw na nawala ako. Nagpakalayo-layo ako sa tulong ng babaeng nagpatakas sa akin. Nang pumutok ang aking panabigan, isang lalaking tumulong sa akin para dalhin ako sa hospital. Ngunit sa kasamaang palad, hindi nakaligtas ang aking anak. Doon na ako nawala sa aking sarili. Nagpalaboy-laboy ako sa lansangan. Natulog sa kalye hanggang sa matagpuan ko ang aking ate. Ang Ate Elizabeth ko.
Kara's VOV. The present. Looking back at the life I had, I was a completely different person now. I grew up and matured enough to face life confidently. After that accident, my life and death experience, I never expected would survive miraculously. Clint brought me here to the US. I was traumatized and had been through enough. For 6 months, I was in a coma. I was referred to therapy so I could walk again. I spent a year in the hospital. I was admitted to a rehabilitation center for psychological therapy, and here I am, a survivor, a fighter, a real Ledesma.
Bakit ayaw mo nalang gamitin ang sarili mong private jet? Bakit kailangan mo makipagsiksikan sa commercial plane?
Naiirit ang tanong ni Clint sa akin. Ngumiti lang ako sa kanya. I isolated myself in the past, thinking it was helpful for me. However, I was wrong. So now the task was meeting new people. Malumanay kong paliwanag sa kanya. He was murmuring as he mimicked me. Lumapad ang aking ngiti dahil sa ginawa niya. It's time for me to finally come home. Sa Pilipinas ko na ipagpapatuloy ang aking nalalabing taon sa kolehiyo. It's now my goal to make friends and enjoy life in the way I hadn't experienced before. It will be a 16-hour flight. Wala nang ginawa ang legal guardian ko kundi magreklamo. Wala na sana muna akong balak bumalik sa Pilipinas dahil hindi pa humihilom ang sugat ng nakaraan. Patuloy pa rin akong binabangungot ni Dad, but I ignored those nightmares, even though they were slowly eating me alive. I mastered the I am okay, I am fine answer every time Clyde and Clint asked me. Despite my genuine smile, I was slowly breaking down inside. Kumusta na kaya siya? Out of nowhere, that question always pops up in my head.